Well, tributes are pouring in for singer Tina Turner, who's died after a long illness. She was 83 years old. Turner, often called the Queen of Rock and Roll, was one of the biggest recording artists in history. She's known for hits including What's Love Got to Do With It and Simply the Best.
Tina Turner, sometimes nicknamed the Queen of Rock and Roll, died on Wednesday at the age of 83. A representative said the legendary singer died peacefully after a long illness in her home in Küsnacht near Zurich, Switzerland. Known for her chart-topping song, What's Love Got to Do With It, in which she called love a second-hand emotion, Turner epitomized 1980s style and often strutted red carpets with her spiky blonde hair, a short skirt, and stiletto heels. In an interview from 1996, Turner was asked how she kept fit.
Just to get it out of the way, I'll just tell you that everyone is now going to gyms and exercising and carrying on, and it is said that it's good for your health, all of this yelling. And I've been singing and traveling and dancing for 35 years, so I think that my work has taken care of all of my aerobic classics. So that's the answer to that one, all right?
Turner won 6 of her 8 Grammy Awards in the 1980s. Years later, in 2008, Turner and Beyoncé performed together at the Grammys.
Tina rocks. She's the absolute best. It's something that I've been wanting to do for years, and it actually happened. It's amazing when those moments come to life.
Ike Turner was the person to discover Tina at the age 17 when she grabbed the mic at a St. Louis club in 1957. He gave her the stage name Tina Turner before the two married in Mexico. The superstar left Ike Turner in 1976 and was forthcoming about the abuse she suffered from her former husband during their marital and musical partnership in the 1960s and 1970s. Their divorce was finalized in 1978. Private Dancer from 1984 went on to become Turner's biggest album, the capstone of a career that saw her sell more than 200 million records in total. In 1985, Turner met German music executive Erwin Bach. Years later, she married him, relinquishing her U.S. citizenship and becoming a citizen of Switzerland. She battled a number of health problems after retiring and then faced family tragedies with the death of 2 sons. Tina Turner is survived by Bach and 2 sons of Ike's that she adopted.
Well, you can't pay tribute to one of the biggest voices in music without actually listening to some of their work. Tina Turner's hits included, as you're just hearing now, Private Dancer, released back in 1984. Take a listen.
Well, the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their names.
Let's talk more about the life and times of Tina Turner with Benjy Mudie, owner of Vinyl Junkie. A very good evening to you, Benjy. Superstars didn't come much bigger than Tina Turner, did they?
Not at all, Tembekile. I think in the annals of contemporary music, she stands head and shoulders above not only every female artist, but most male artists as well. She was simply electrifying as an artist.
And let's talk about that, because even the biggest names in rock and roll, people like Mick Jagger, revered Tina Turner, and they openly speak of just how much they learned from her as a woman in a space where there were just so many men at the time.
Well, not only did she outsing them, most of the men, but she also outperformed them. I mean, if you look at Tina Turner, there were 3 distinct areas of Tina. There was obviously Ike and Tina, which I listened to when I was a kid. And then there was Tina Turner version 1, post-Ike, where she really struggled to make any impact after she left Ike. In fact, she toured every bar and every dive around the world, including, believe it or not, here in South Africa. She came here in I think it was in 1979, and she performed in Joburg. I actually met her in the bowels of the SABC. And then, of course, from 1981 onwards, the success of Private Dancer and onwards. Yeah, she was absolutely amazing.
And I want to talk about when you met her all those years ago, but you were talking about how she struggled after she'd separated from Ike Turner, her husband, who had abused her, he assaulted her. We know the story was even captured in a film in the early 90s. But when she did manage to get that big comeback, it was a big one. In her 40s, possibly one of very few people to be able to pull that off.
Well, I mean, it's now known as the greatest comeback in music history. And a lot of that credit goes, obviously, to two people. Tina herself, for her undying and enduring belief in her talent. And Roger Davies, the Australian manager that signed her in 1981. And he was the one that carefully constructed the transition from rock and roll queen, which she basically was, to music superstar by bringing in other forms of music, soul music, pop music, which Tina hadn't been doing. And of course, the rest is history. One of the big, if not the biggest selling female artist of all time.
And we're playing the song now, What's Love Got to Do With It, in the background while you and I are speaking. I was looking this morning at video of her 69, 70, her final world tour. I think about 1 million plus people are said to have attended those shows. And to see someone in their 70s go out, basically as she went into retirement, on a high and owning their story, that was also quite unique about her, how she did things on her own terms, especially after she made the decision to leave Ike.
Well, the funny thing, which a lot of people don't know, is what's love got to do with it? When she first heard the demo, when Roger gave her the demo, she didn't want to do the record. She didn't like it. And he had to really talk her into doing it. And, of course, it became her biggest hit. But, I mean, she was an icon. And I'm afraid, along with others, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones, we're never going to see these type of icons again. They're all one of a kind, and Tina had that special, I've been in the music business all my life, and I've always believed in that special element that makes an artist a great artist, and that's what Tina Turner had.
Speaking about her being a storyteller, Benji, even before hits like What's Love Got to Do With It, when you go back to her early days, I mean, Nutbush, a tribute basically to where she grew up. She told the story of how she grew up picking cotton as a little girl in the U.S., abandoned by both her parents, but was still able to capture the experience in such an exciting way still, if that's even the right word.
Well, everybody knows Tina Turner, the superstar, of Private Dancer and onwards. But what I've got to say is I recommend you go back and listen to Ike and Tina Turner's version of Proud Mary, which is the Creedence Clearwater version. There has never been a greater live performance that I've seen on YouTube. And the one thing about Tina didn't write songs. She wasn't like Elton John or like Jagger. She was the greatest interpreter of songs. And she interpreted the Beatles, she interpreted the Stones, and she did such an amazing job. And she owned those songs. So go and check out Proud Mary on YouTube. You'll be blown away.
I'm tempted to break into song, but I won't do it just now. Let's talk about when you met her in the 70s. How was she?
She was the most wonderful, warm, generous person. I happened to be back and then I was working for Warner Records, and I was just a little promo guy going to the SABC and taking my music to get played. And I walked into a studio, and there she was, live and in living color. She looked like Tina Turner, with a wig and the whole number, and just I was completely in awe. And I got her to sign a piece of paper, and we chatted for a while. And I went to go and see her at the old Coliseum down in Commissioner Street. And I sat in the front row and watched this Amazon of a singer perform like I'd never seen anything in my life. And I've been a fan ever since.
Benjy Mudie, veteran broadcaster and owner of Vinyl Junkie, good to speak to you tonight as part of the tributes to Tina Turner, a legend who's passed away, 83, inducted twice into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, first with Ike, her husband, as part of the group that they had in those early years, and then as a solo artist in the 2000s. Mato Khwaripe is here with your business shortly.
You must understand the touch of your hand makes my pulse real.